Hi, I'm Alan Ning. I was Zorianna Kit, and today we review Demonic. So here's the thing about horror films. We all know I'm a big chicken when it comes to horror films, and my feeling is if you don't scare me at all, it's not a good horror movie. And that's my feeling about Demonic. I just wasn't scared. And what are your thoughts about Demonic?
Listen, I'm with you on that. The reason I see horror films is to be scared, is to be terrified, is to sweat in my seat and really fear for my own safety, or be so invested in the characters that I fear for their safety. Never once did I feel like anyone was in danger here in this film. So it was a little bit of a letdown, coupled with the fact that demonic is like just the most generic title that it doesn't even sound attractive. I mean, you go back to Neill Blomkamp's very first movie, District 9. Just that title alone, District 9, you just makes you go like, what is District 9? What's going on here? Just that standpoint alone. And then like demonic, I mean, how like generic can you get?
Yeah, I mean, I will say that District 9, I like because I didn't necessarily consider it a horror movie. It was
I'm not saying
more gross out alien stuff, but at least he built a world. He had a good idea, kind of taking apartheid and putting in the sci-fi genre. In this one, I think he also had a good idea. I like the idea that these exorcists have AR technology and are going to use computers to exorcise demons. But again, I like the idea, and I liked how it played out at the beginning. I just wasn't. I just wanted to be scared. I wanted more from this movie. I'll tell you my biggest problem with the movie is the female protagonist. She doesn't have much of an arc. You know, she has mommy issues. Mommy's possessed, and then she kind of goes through and solves the problem, and we're kind of done. And it's like there's, you know, it's like, is the story just about what they're putting this woman through, or, you know? And I kind of want to see an arc of some sort, see her be different from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie. And sure, she learned more about family, but that was about it. Nothing really worth investing at this point.
Well, for me, I had different issues with the film, although that is a great point, and that's a great point for any film. You always want people to have arcs because that's what makes you invested in them. I felt that this movie had two underlying concepts that were really interesting but never fully delved into. The best one here, which just was touched on so briefly in terms of showing it to us, is the fact that the Vatican has this secret group of priests that are demon hunters.
We've always known that.
That's a great idea. Like I just that alone as a concept, like, you know, put away the cape superheroes, give us some Vatican priests who will like have this secret group where they're out hunting demons and keeping the streets safe for us while we sleep at night. Like that, I love.
Well, I have to say, but ever since the Inquisition, they've always had a team like that.
So here in this movie, we find out about this group that exists like halfway through the movie, and then we see them prepare for their mission, and then cut to they're all dead because the demon defeated them, and that's the end of that.
Yeah. Well, and you bring up the other non-scary part is all the fighting and all the scary parts are done off screen. You know, you hear it or you see the aftermath of it. You know, there's one horrifying demonic imagery or segment, but you know, I've seen that in other movies. I've seen that in commercials for other movies, and you know, as cool as it might have been, you know, I just wasn't scared. I also wonder, by the fact that I saw it at home on my TV during the day, you know, maybe that has something to play. You know, I'm feeling like maybe I might have been a little bit more scared if I was in a dark theater, in darkness with other people.
I don't know. I mean, I can't answer that for you, but for me, it wasn't about having an audience. It was, like you had mentioned, having an investment in the characters. I mentioned that there were two things that they they didn't lean into enough. And the other one was the technology of how our main character can put this thing on her head and then be connected through AR/VR into her mom's brain, who's lying next to her. And all of a sudden she's in her mom's head, in her world, communicating, which again, that's a very cool concept. But we see that happen maybe 3 times in the film, very briefly, and nothing exciting happens in that world. It's just basically our character, like, Mom, come back with me, or Mom, what's happening? Yeah. Like, just, you never feel like she's in any danger. So that concept, coupled with the Vatican Secret Society concept, are 2 things that if they had picked one and really leaned into it and made the movie about that, would have been much more interesting. Because Black Mirror, if they had tackled these episodes on their show on Netflix, they would have really leaned into that and made something truly amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. I see this in independent film a lot. Not to say that this is an independent film, but
it is an independent film.
Well, I mean, low budget indie. I mean, Neill, I would say from an experience standpoint, I mean, because you got Neill Blomkamp, who has made a lot of movies, and you would think that he'd learn a lot of these lessons, and he has this really great idea. It's just the execution that's off, and I think that's what happened here. It's like, I mean, man, if they had just made it about that secret squad, Catholic demon squad. I think that would have been a much more exciting movie.
Yeah.
And you could have just really played, there's just so much there. And I think it was weird that they would just go to the story of a mother and daughter.
I know, because it took a cool premise and ended up giving us a generic thriller. And for me, someone like District 9 is one of my favorite all-time movies. I loved it and still love it. It was nominated for 4 Oscars. It put Neill Blomkamp on the map. And it is so disappointing that afterwards he did Elysium, and that wasn't as impactful as District 9. And then the movie after that, which happened to be his last movie, is Chappie, with Hugh Jackman. That was 6 years ago. So the guy hasn't made a movie in 6 years. And
Chappie was probably the reason why he hadn't made his.
I'm sure it was. But I would like to think that a 6-year hiatus would have resulted in something more than just a generic horror thriller.
Yeah. All right. So less than thrilled about this one. I'm guessing you gave it maybe a 3.
No, I didn't. You know what? I wasn't that brutal with it at all. Because I'll sit through a horror movie. I actually gave it like a 5. It's not that the acting wasn't bad, and if the acting is bad, that's when you lose me. But I just kind of muddled through, just like our characters muddled through. So a 5 for me. I think you and I shared the same views on like why we didn't like this movie, but I think you were a lot more harsh with your rating, considering we're assuming that I gave it a 3. A 3 would make me angry. This movie didn't make me angry, but I think maybe you gave it a 4.
Yeah, I gave it a 4. I think same thing that you said. I just, I didn't care if it's kind of like if I'm going to spend the time to go see a horror movie, scare me, because you're not going to get me to see that many. So, right. Hey, what did you, maybe we're wrong. Maybe you like Demonic. Let us know. Like, subscribe, comment. And with that, let's get out of here.